Hello and welcome back to Jesse's Vintage Garage, and later in this video we're going to work on putting push rods in and stuff, but first off in the beginning here we're going to work on the front end here and putting the top cover stuff all on, and the front cover and the headlamp and so on. So first off, we got this stainless cover on here, and you're supposed to put this black plastic guide thing where the wires and the cables, throttle and spark cables go through. You put it in like this. The flange part goes underneath and holds it down. And then we just got this in here. We haven't put fluid in yet, but we're gonna do that. I'm not sure about in this video yet, but anyway, we're getting ready to put the front cover on, and then we'll mount the headlamp. All right, so right now we're getting ready to put the risers in. So it gets all this stuff right here. Starting with the bottom riser part though, we get a hex nut, which is actually like a castle nut in a way, and then we have this 56-159-49 is this cupped rubber washer right here that goes up against the ISO mounted rubber mounted thing that's installed here. It gets pressed into this riser. It's a pretty stout piece, and this right here is the ISO part. It gets pressed into there, and then bolt comes through the top, just like we see here. And there's another one on the top here, another ISO one in there. So anyway, we're getting ready to put this on. Just wanted to show this real quick. Sometimes they had more of a rigid mounted one, but this is actually the rubber mounted, the premium one that would have came out. Here we go. We got the risers installed, tightened down, and got them lined up good. I got the dash 54 handlebar on here. This is the better handlebar. It goes from 54 to 59 before they changed it in 60 to 2-piece. And then of course this top cover needs to be cleaned up, but that's how it all goes together. It's got like a 2-ended stud that this threads into, and it threads into the top clamp. The top clamp of the riser is kind of chrome anyway. You can eliminate this, but this kind of finishes up the look because this is how it was, and it just felt like I needed to put it on there anyway. Otherwise it would have been fine also. But anyways, we can put the damper stuff on later, and all the stuff involved with the throttle and the spirals. We can do that all later. Then we just gotta make sure we don't hit our face on this when we're moving around down here. Now we're gonna put the front cover on and go ahead and try to put the headlamp on.
Not quite tall.
Alright, so working with the front tins, we got to make sure that we install the front terminal plate. And this one goes right behind the front tin, right behind the headlamp. And it looks like this. This is made by Colony. It's a 2305-12. We gotta put the posts on there, of course, and then install this to the forks. I'll show that in a little while. But when we get to wiring, this isn't going to be all about wiring in this video. We're going to do that in the next video or so. But here's our wiring diagram, and we got our wiring harness from Cimarron Cycle Works. They're out of Arizona, and they come with the nice wiring harness is specific for 55 to 57, and it's laid out really nice, and they go into great detail to make it successful for people to put this stuff together. So hopefully we can reference this and actually pull this off. Because I've only seen someone wire an old Harley like this once, and everything changed in 49. So this is going to be totally different than the 40, because the Springer front end was nowhere to protect the terminal panel like that, and it all came to the end of the dash. So a whole different situation. So I'm going to build this quick, put it on the front forks, and we'll go from there. Well, here's what it looks like so far. Of course, each one of these numbers is a terminal number, and in our print over here it's got 21. We're using that one, and then we got 9 and 20, and well, there's our 9, there's our 20. So I guess we could put these stack posts, these terminals, on the ones we need for sure, but then we might come across one where we're missing it later down the road. So I got enough screws here in this kit to fill this all up, so it doesn't hurt nothing. And we put the screw through, flat washer, then the internal locking star washer there, and then the nut, and that tightens up to this phenolic panel, and then another nut goes on top here, of course, to lock the wires down. So each one of these is isolated to this panel from each other because there's no metal parts here. So we don't have to worry about any sort of cross cross connections or anything. And I'm not sure, it doesn't look like there's anything that's jumping here, any jumpers or anything, but might find that all along the way. So far this is what it's gonna look like. I'm gonna load this all the way up, then we'll mount it to the bike. Okay, so I got the panel on here, sitting pretty nice, held on by a couple Phillister head screws. I got them in stainless here, and we'll leave this. I had to take the wire off, the grounding wire off the over here from there because I must have had that in the wrong spot. I don't know what I was thinking or whatever, but it's probably gonna go onto one of these terminals here. So we'll look that up later. But I'm gonna leave this back panel on this side off for a while, and because we're gonna go forward with putting the headlamp and stuff on, so we need that on so we can wire it as well. And we're gonna leave this back panel off for a while yet, so we can access this. This should work out pretty good because we can kind of see the numbers yet. And this is where we're going to be hooking up to when we get to the wiring and stuff. So we're going to be running spot lamps on this bike. So another accessory. Anyways, in this picture here, in this parts manual, it shows the brackets here for the Hydroglide. And it's kind of like backwards here a little bit because these parts that angle outward are actually go towards the tins, and then the spacer goes on this side of it, and the screw and the bolt and the washer go on the other side. And then down here it's just the bolt going through, comes in from the other side, and these parts go to the outside. Okay, so I'm gonna show you what that looks like here in a minute. But if you're not running spot lamps, you just need to buy this fork panel mounting kit from Colony. It's 3175-6. It comes with these four screws that go into the side and hold the panels in. It also comes with the back screws, and you need those to put the back panel on. So that's the only way you get those screws. You gotta buy this kit. It's just a round head screw that has like a Phillips spot in it, and yeah, they're pretty nice. Usually Colony stuff's usually really accurate, and that's exactly what these parts were back then. They're kind of long, but look like this. This is the back panel screw, and the other ones look just like this, except for they're a little bit shorter. So, okay, so with our terminal panel right here all set up, and I got this back panel screw back in here, or like this. We're probably gonna leave this, like I said before, we're gonna leave this cover off, but the spot lamp brackets are mounted like this outward, like I was saying, and the front fork panel sitting here like this. So next up, we're gonna be putting the headlamp on. So I'm gonna talk about that a little bit, but that's what we've got so far. These are 1038 CP correct stuff, so I mean, this will look good. Me either. So here's the Hydroglide headlamp, and of course 7-inch headlamp, and this is a sealed beam, cycle beam, and guide. This is a guide replica. This is made by GM Corporation because they're the ones who made all the guide lighting components for Harleys back then, and it's got Guide made in USA right here. And if it isn't made by Guide, but the GM affiliate, they can't have this stuff on it. So there's a lot of aftermarket parts that don't say this stuff. If you're wanting to have this kind of look like originally it would have been done, look for these kind of headlamps. The mount is accurate. This is how it was back then too. And it takes a big nut. It's like a 7/8 head hex nut that goes on here and holds it down. So we're gonna go ahead and mount that now because we're kind of ready, and then we'll just like stick these wires through a little bit, get it all ready for that terminal plate. There we go, we got the headlamp installed here. And now we're kind of ready to put the back panels on, but we're gonna not put that on right now on either side. But we gotta make sure that when we put these tabs in, they go behind the front panel. Now we'll probably show that again later down the road, but I wanna make sure I make a point of it now because we're mostly doing fork tin stuff in this video. So it goes behind the front panel, gets clamped down and tightened up, and you screw this down. So, and it's gotta be in front of this. That has to be trimmed yet anyway, like so. So anyway, I think we'll move on to installing something else here. So we're moving along here on the 56, and then I got this speedometer. Here's the 56 speedometer. It's pretty rough. It does function. I'm gonna have it looked at and finessed up and made it look great again here. The slung part of it, the numbers and stuff, of course you can see it's all coming off. And I just didn't want it to look like this when I'm riding the bike. So I want to have it looking a lot like this one in the picture. See how much nicer that looks? So that's what it should look like. Now 55 was the first year of this style, and it went on a ways, I think to about 61. This is of course non-police one, and so is this one because the police ones had like a 65, little 65 written in there. And then on this, the tenths on the odometer down here was supposed to be like red in 56. So this is probably like a 57 or something speedometer actually. So, but anyways, it don't matter. But I can get it to look like a 56, like it should, or I can restore this 57 or whatever it is, all original. But I mean, it has the inspection stamps and all that stuff, and of course this code probably tells you if it's the 50 what year, 55, 56, 57, but I didn't look none of that up. But anyway, it's actually not too bad. I've seen better, but they go for like a lot of money and when they're in perfect shape. So of course this one wasn't a lot of money because it's not perfect. But I'm gonna have this sent away to Smithworks here in Iowa. They do Harley speedometers also. When we were at Davenport in 2024, we ran into the guy down there, and I wanted him to rebuild my chrometrics, and I told him about my 56 speedometer, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I do those too." So I mean, that's great. So that's gonna be another shout out when this gets all done, to how wonderful it'll look. So I'm really banking on this turns out well. So we'll see how that comes. Because the next time you see this speedometer, it'll be all nice looking again. Hoping. Okay, so I was like reading through this, and I don't see where it talks about the red 10th mark. But I thought that the 10th mark meant that it was a specific year and it was like a oddity. But according to what I'm reading though, in this Palmer book, it talks about how the 56 would have had the a white 10th mark, which I have. So I'm probably all right. I think maybe that might be the 57. I could have been confused, but it goes on to talk about how the body would be marked with 509-FE on the body in black ink. And police models except the late 61 are marked with the 509-FF. So I have the FE on mine. And like I was saying about the 65, it talks about how it was a California Highway Patrol. And it would have been marked 509-FF also. But yeah, so I'm going to go take that over to Smith's Works and have them restore that for me, and maybe during the Davenport swap meet I'll be able to pick it up. We'll see coming up. Okay, so I'm getting ready to put the dash base on. It won't take very long, but in the picture here it shows a 39-552, and that's actually supposed to be a hex head, but in the picture it shows like a slotted screw. It's 5/16-18 according to the frame, and then it's just a flat washer. It goes there, and then there's two going, one in there and one in there. It holds the base down. I'm gonna mount that quick. I'll probably come to an end in this video because we're running out of time. I didn't want this video to be very long, and it's gonna take a little while to do the lifter or the push rods and stuff. So we'll do that in a different video, and then we're getting set up to get ready to go into electrical stuff next, which we'll be going over the terminal box, terminals, and all that stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and put the base on and see what it looks like. Okay, so I'm installing the bolts here, and they do make shims so you can elevate the dash a little bit so you can get the right position for the tanks and stuff. We don't know that quite yet, so what we're going to do is we're going to just install it kind of like this. For now, we'll get the tanks back coming up hopefully soon, and we'll be able to go on from there. But this is a good base to start because we got to start doing our wiring over. And this is one of the main areas where we do our wiring at, so it just makes sense to kind of get going here. We can always take the screws out, these bolts out, and slide shims in there if we need to. But in the meantime, let's just go ahead and finish putting the button in this part up. Alright, so there we go. I got this temporarily installed. I hope you enjoyed everything in this video. We're going to get ready to, in the next segment, I think we're going to be doing the Davenport swap meet. So we're going to get ready to go to that. So that footage is coming up, and in a different video, of course. And yeah, so the front end turned out really nice in this, all shiny. And we're going to work on getting the spot lamps on and the wiring all in. I'll probably come up in the next video, like I was thinking. So we'll see you again soon.